Hi, I'm Mark.
I'm Alison.
And today we're going to be making a chocolate and hazelnut Florentine. So it's a really simple recipe, great for Mother's Day, and yeah, just super tasty as well. So Alison, do you want to chuck the hazelnut paste, the milk chocolate, and then a third of the milk?
I certainly will.
Into the bowl. So what's your role within LNER then? What is it that you do on a day-to-day basis?
So first when I joined, I became a chef. That's how I got the position. And then a year after being a chef, I applied to be a hero chef on board. And that's all about menu development, talking to local suppliers, going to local suppliers, tasting all the food, sitting down with other hero chefs, talk about the local produce that can be used. And we go to all the food factories where we get the bread from, where we get the meat from, the farms, and just things like that really. It's absolutely fantastic.
I think one of the most exciting things about being a chef that I've found over the years, because obviously when you start being a chef, it is just about getting through your prep list. You know, you're doing it because you're told to do it. But when you can then start being creative and start really using your brain, speak to suppliers, getting produce in, that's, for me, the exciting part of being a chef. It's more the developing
totally agree.
Ideas. And so I'm going to melt that.
Okay.
So whilst I melt that, can you just add the rest of the milk and cream, the coffee, the glucose, and the dark chocolate to the pot. So that's that melted.
Okay.
So if you want to finish.
Put the glucose in.
So as I said, super simple. It's literally a 3-step process. So, and then I'm just going to bring that to the heat as well.
Okay.
So you add the coffee. So that's just espresso that we've just let go cold.
Okay.
But you can just use instant coffee if you don't have espresso.
Brilliant.
There's so many variations to how to make a Florentine. I think it goes back to what I'd said about being creative. You know, you can take this recipe, you can add sort of whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can finish it with mint, you can add some honey. You know, just take out the glucose, you can add some agave. You can really just do whatever you like. If you don't like hazelnuts, take them out and add almonds.
Yeah.
It really is just such a simple recipe, but you can really make it your own.
Brilliant.
So I'll just melt that.
Okay.
So that's that melted.
Wow.
So I'm going to add these two together. If you want to take the cherries and then just roughly chop them. Maybe into quarters or...
Okay.
Leave them as chunky as you like.
That's lovely.
So I'm just going to fold these both together along with the hazelnuts.
What are your plans for Mother's Day then, Mark?
So I think for the last... Well, how long have I been a chef? 25 years? I mean, I started very young, obviously. Obviously. I think I've probably worked most Mother's Days.
Yeah.
And then this year I think I'm in London, so I'm working. And what about you? Who's treating you, or are you treating someone?
Who's treating me? Well, that'll be my children, hopefully.
Right.
And we discussed this last night, and maybe some nice money would be really good.
Right, we could all do that, right? Okay.
So, and then hopefully I'll go and see my mum this year.
Yep.
Last year it was flowers through the letterbox and sat and talked at the window. Maybe go for roast beef at my mum's house because that's my favourite, and she's a killer at roast beef and Yorkshire puddings.
Wow.
Yorkshire girl, so she's the best.
I don't think...
Gravy is, it's to die for, and I can't do it any better.
Really?
I've tried and I can't, so if there's ever roast beef on the menu, I'm there.
See, my mum now refuses to cook for me because I'm a chef.
Yeah.
I think she thinks I'm going to just sit there and give her marks out of 10, or... I mean, obviously I'm not. I'm just going to sit there and enjoy it. So yeah, every time I go around to my mum's or my mother-in-law's, I do the cooking now. So we're going to add the hazelnuts to this. And then if you want to add the cherries.
Okay.
And as I had said, you know, if you want to take out the hazelnuts, add walnuts, add roasted almonds.
Yeah,
you can really
do it to your own taste.
Or if you want, you know, sultanas or some orange zest or You can really just do whatever you like.
Okay.
So we'll just finish folding this through. So that's it, finished mixing, everything's evenly spread through. So we'll just grab a tray, and then I'm just going to layer it on the tray.
Wonderful.
And then we'll just set it in the fridge for 2, maybe 3 hours.
Okay.
Or until we can't wait any longer and we want to eat it.
Yes.
So I'll just drop this in the fridge to set. So this is set up now.
Wonderful.
So that about 2-3 hours.
Okay.
If you want to cut it into 1-inch squares, 2-inch rectangles, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, this looks lovely. It reminds me when we did a tasting in London, we were deciding what desserts to have on the train.
Yep.
And the firm that we use in Newcastle, obviously on our route, they'd sent 50 desserts.
Well, that would have been a hard day.
Oh gosh, actually at the end of it, you did feel...
Really?
Yeah. We all wanted to, when we saw these desserts all lined out on the table, beautiful pots, presentation, lovely, we all wanted to take them home, but by the end of the hour...
You were done.
Going, oh
yeah.
no. And we did choose some beautiful desserts, so on board, the desserts,
yeah,
especially for the evening meal, oh, they're wonderful.
So we're just going to decorate these just with a little bit of white chocolate, a little bit of dark chocolate. But again, you can just, you know, now if you've got the recipe,
yeah,
you can just sort of do whatever you like.
You could even wrap them up for your mum for a Mother's Day gift, couldn't you, in a nice little box with a ribbon.
So if you want to start laying these on the tray, just so when we're drizzling, it's easy to get enough chocolate on it.
Do you know, Mark, I always wanted to be a TV chef.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. For probably, well, in my back garden, my dad made me a mud kitchen before mud kitchens were trendy.
A mud kitchen?
Yeah, cooking mud and sand and things like that. And I used to pretend I was on telly all the time. So when this phone call came that I had a chance to work with you for LNER, I practiced and I thought, oh no, I can't do it. It's harder than it looks, so...
You just pretend these guys aren't here.
Oh,
it's fine,
no.
Don't worry about it. So if you want to just drizzle over some of the dark.
Okay.
So that's them, super simple, super easy to make, and I think any mother that receives them on Mother's Day would be happy.
Definitely.
Although slightly large portion, so you could make them smaller.
It's Mother's Day, Mark.
You deserve to be treated, I suppose.
Thank you.
So, here you go.
Bye.
So I've been Mark, this has been Alison. Again, if you're going to make these, make sure you share them on social media, and to watch more episodes like this, tune in to LNER Weekend Kitchen, and thank you very much.